What is up, people? This is the first addition to the podcast, the Hidden Artist Village podcast. And today I'm here with Jhovany Vazquez, who is one of my best friends in the industry and someone I consider a real brother in real life. He happens to also be a voice actor.
What?
What? Oh no! So, yes, Jhovany, please, if you can, introduce yourself.
Sure. Hey guys, like Leo said, my name is Jhovany Vazquez. I'm a voice actor primarily in commercials, animes, video games, you name it. Super happy to be here. We've been talking about doing this interview for a while, and I'm so excited to get started and get in there.
Yes, yes. So, Jhovany is the voice of Toland from Dislyte and Chu Yao. Yes. And I happen to be the voice of some tiger guy that also
How dare you
appears
put
in
some
Dislyte.
respect on him? He's
Nah,
so cool.
yeah, I'm the voice of Jinchu, and as you guys have seen if you've played the story, Jinchu and Toland don't fuck with each other too much, right? And we can curse on this podcast. I advocate for people to be themselves 100%.
I love it. Fuck. Awesome.
Yes, exactly. So I gotta ask you, bro,
hmm
how has it felt being a part of Dislyte?
Dude, I mean, you know this feeling too. Because a little backstory. At least for me, I don't know if I share your experience with it. I was trying to get onto that game for at least what it was like a year to 2 years. Man, it was a long time, wasn't it?
It was a grind for sure. It was a
It
grind.
was a grind, and
Mhm.
every time we were sending something in, we're like, "Oh, this character's gonna be it," and nothing. And then Tolan came around, and especially since he was part of like Aztec deity inspired, I was like, I have to bring this one home. So I just gave it a good shot, and I was able to book it. And from there, man, I had no idea the community, the fans, everything is just like tops. Like every day we still get like messages saying like, "Oh, I love Toland. Oh, I love Dislyte. You did such a great job with this character. Thank you so much." And then the fan art and just the words of encouragement from everybody. So it's been a wild ride just being part of this little like great big but small faction. So it's been incredible. So incredible.
Yeah, and like Dislyte isn't like the biggest game ever in the world right now, but like the fans, the freaking love that it gets, the art that I see. Sometimes I'll be on Twitter and I see the art for your characters, I'll see the art for my characters, and I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Like people actually love this game, you know?
it it makes you feel like you're part of like a huge franchise like Final Fantasy or something. Just like, wow, man,
Mhm.
you guys
Yeah,
are
that
awesome. Thank you.
exactly, exactly. So, you know, I feel this is a trope that me and you have in multiple mediums where our characters just don't fuck with each other,
I don't know
right?
why, but yeah.
So, yeah, so Toland is a prisoner and Jinchu is the warden of the entire prison, and he wants to use Toland for his own mischievous things that he has going on. And the thing is, Toland is a very prideful character, so he doesn't want to break his morals to work with someone like Jin Chu. Now, disclaimer, I don't know the entire story of Dislyte. We're just the talents, of course. So
Right.
I did some research, but it's just cool seeing that psychology between the two.
hmm
Like, it's insane. Go ahead.
No, yeah, I agree with you because just booking them was awesome. But knowing that they were intertwined in this kind of like, rivalry of sorts and
Mhm.
seeing that Tolan is very Vegeta-esque with that kind of stuff sticking to his pride and everything. Uh
Vegeta.
I know. Honestly, that's really good. And
Yes.
it's funny, like you were saying, like for some reason that's just what we do now. Because one of the very first projects we were got to in together, we're also like rivals in there where we fight. I think we just recently booked a game where we fight again. And then we have Dislyte again where we're just like up against each other. So I can't wait till like a year from now when our next game where we get to fight each other comes out and stuff like
Yep, yep. Many more. The saga is not over. This is gonna
that.
happen for, as long as voice acting as hopefully as it is around in the future, it'll happen more.
Yeah.
So,
I
yeah.
don't like my record though, because from what I can tell, we're drawing in the game and in the first project it was a draw, but you win in the game we just recently booked. So the score is like 0 for me, 2 to tie, and 1 for you. So I do not like that at all. We gotta start changing.
I don't know what to say, man. It's just my characters. I don't know. Like,
I have no plot armor.
no plot armor.
No fucking
Nope.
plot armor.
So, how has life been for Jhovany lately?
Dude, I can say with the most humbleness and like gratefulness that this year and this month in particular has been the greatest year of my career so far. So not and it's very been very fulfilling, not just my career but my life so far. A lot of things that I thought would come a lot later are coming a lot sooner. Um, just I can't say too much, but in terms of representation, family, and dream gigs, I'm just over the moon, man. So very much at a 10 out of 10 for that. So things are going very, very well. I wish I could give more detail, but I can't. Literally, I can't.
No, it's okay. Exactly. And I feel that too. I
Mhm.
remember we talked about, we had like these little goals that accumulated over
Mhm.
time and then they, turned into the big goal, which was getting in the door, right? Like
Yes.
getting an agent, being able to compete with the best in the world on a weekly basis and book, you know?
Yes.
And it took like, I think it was 2021, um, when we were like dabbling, trying to, get out there.
Mhm.
And it took less than 36 months, like less than 2 years, like
Yeah.
just working hard, getting our ish together.
And you know what's funny about that thinking back because we kind of hit a little bit of rock bottom because remember that one project we were really excited to be a part of?
Yes.
And one of our other close friends was in it too, and we are just like, oh, this is cool. Oh, three of us in it. This is great.
Yep. Yep.
And then they were just like the worst type of people.
Yeah,
And
it's insane. It's insane. Like something happened with my role. I was literally in jury duty and then I get told something about my role like, "Oh, um like I can't play this role anymore or so it's that something happened." I'm like, "Man, sometimes projects fall apart. Sometimes and they fall apart sometimes for good reason. Maybe the universe sometimes is looking out for you too."
yeah,
So yeah, not every project is a project you should be a part of.
be a part of. But what I'm referencing is that whole thing, the whole scandal where we're like basically all three of us left because of how they were treating us and their way they were making production. And then
Hmm.
from there, like a phoenix from the ashes,
Hmm.
that was like the very rock bottom, and we just started soaring after that. I think we were cashing in a lot of commercial wins that were huge, like World Cup after that, and then soon after you got Pizza Hut for you,
Hmm.
and then agency representation and things along that line. I was just like, wow, it, like you said, it goes to show you things happen for a reason. We could have been going down a different path had we just stand there, because
Yeah.
you're comfortable, you book something, you kind of like take your foot off the gas, but that kind of made us all just go forward even further.
Yeah.
So in a sense, I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I feel like with me and you, we have this thing in common where we just don't take our foot off the gas.
Yeah, that's it.
Like,
It's a double-edged sword, a blessing and a burden.
yeah, we're like two speeding cars going at like the speed of light and it just doesn't stop. Like we're never satisfied. I love the wins. I love being a part of the community in general,
Mhm.
Like honestly, I do this more to have a community and like talk to fellow artists.
Yes.
But yeah, like I don't want to stop. I love art. I love doing this art.
Yeah, I mean, because I also work a regular job overnights, and that
Hmm.
helps make time for this. Um, but just comparing not only just the money, because you can book something and make 3 times what you'll make in an 8-hour shift easily, but the fulfillment you get, even if it's something small, just like saying the lines, "Hey, PayPal is great." Whatever it is, it feels it's cash for the soul, like my old mentor said. It just makes you happy, fulfills you, as opposed to stacking boxes for like 30 minutes just for like
Yeah.
25 an hour.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like if you're an actor, working a regular job is a very normal thing.
Oh yeah.
Like there's a small 1% amount of people who are just doing this full time. Like I work a full-time job and I do acting at the same time. Like and it helps my acting because I don't have to worry about paying bills with acting.
Exactly. Puts less stress on the auditioning process because you don't have to book, but
Yeah. Even
and
Joe Zeta says that too.
I
Oh,
love that fucking dude. I love that guy, man. He's such an
yeah.
inspiration.
He made a
Well,
video talking about it. Like, yeah, it's good to have a day job while you're
mhm.
doing this.
Yeah, because like you don't want to succumb yourself, like make this your life. You want to.
Hmm.
I think people that do that get a little jaded and misinterpret things. They muddy the water with their own shit, so to say.
Yeah.
So, you know, having this part of your life is great, and getting other influences, like a job, like interacting with humans, remembering that you're human to
Hmm.
bring more authenticity to the roles, I think is where I'm trying to get
Very
at for sure.
true. Very true. Interacting with people as much as you can will only just help your acting too. Yeah,
Dude, yeah.
exactly. So
And it gives you confidence too, like, just to, like, oh, I'm getting more life experience, and then things that you didn't know would help you, like, just you're older, you're wiser, you kind of can read scripts and put your life experiences into them instantaneously, and they can hear the confidence in those roots.
for sure. So I wanted to get into the commercial world a little bit
Hey, yes.
because me, I was never the biggest fan of commercial. Like,
And I was there. Take your medicine. You learn these
yeah.
commercials.
Yes, yeah. But you know what though? Like a lot of people, like we would train with people, I'm not gonna say, people's names and stuff, but we would like just read copy and
Mhm.
over time one person left after the next, and it was just me and you, right? We were just reading copy.
After a while, yeah, I think it was most because I'm sure they really wanted to get into it, but
Hmm.
life gets in the way for stuff. But we were so blessed to just have like the open space for it.
Hmm.
But I will say that because I would like tell you guys, hey, I'm successful in acting. Let me help you guys. And everyone wants to do anime and video games, and I'm like, this is where the money is. And you
Yeah.
kind of were like the only one who was just like, let me keep hearing them out. And then I
Yeah.
would see you slowly like grind it, and then gets to the point where I had no notes, and I'll be like, oh, I'm so proud. And then you get comes to the point where you're trying to take my throne when you're like, oh, I'm Mr. Pizza Hut now. I'm like, all right, bet. Watch me come back with fucking the World Cup, and then we'll see what
All
happens.
right, you see, guys, this is the competitiveness that I'm talking about. But you know what? It literally just elevates like me and him. But it's always a friendly
Yeah,
company.
yeah,
Like,
absolutely. There's no malice behind it at all.
yes, exactly. Like, you know what? Maybe, you can be Mr. Domino's or something.
Yo, there would be.
I don't
I will tell you
know.
this. I did get an audition for Pizza Hut not too long ago. And the first thing I thought it was you. I was like, I better book this one just so he can fucking see the commercial.
Oh man. I think I saw that one too. I think it was in English.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did a really good job. Whoever got it, I saw it too. I was like, man, he really did. He nailed it.
God, yeah, I didn't see it actually. I didn't even see the ad, but maybe I should check it out. But going back to it with the commercial stuff, it has changed.
Yes.
Like from the 1990s, early 2000s, 2010s till now. Like it's no longer I'm an announcer. You should get this for 2.99. It's not
Oh
like that
my
anymore.
god. And I think I would tell this to you. I would stress it to you and everybody else that would listen. Is like that is my biggest pet peeve is
Mm.
showcasing antiquated ways of reading commercial copies. And they would be. I'm getting hot. I was room temp, and now I'm hot. All right. There would be people who put on seminars, and they would teach those styles, which is like that, which is like pop numbers, roses for 1999,
Mhm.
or big, extraordinary things that's not subtle and human and conversational. And they would only profit from that because the actors are new fledgling actors that will go out and try that stuff, and it doesn't book. I would say
Mm.
I hit my keyboard. I would say maybe 1% of jobs you can get away with that because you would know there are productions that just need that,
Yeah.
but it's evolved to a conversational friendly manner, and everyone has their different definitions from that. But I do know that it is on the same wavelength. So once you get a grasp on what that is, which is, I always equate it to, and this is something that somebody told me earlier, and it kind of changed my perspective. It's to one person. Say it to one person, which I know sounds dumbass, of course, but when you're performing, it's like getting into a fight and getting punched in the face.
Mhm.
Your plan goes out the window. So remembering that for me, it's much more concise. Um, like one of my let me share this story. Do you remember that commercial for PayPal? that I
Yes.
did. Okay, let me share that real quick because that's a good example of two things. One, which
Mhm.
was like um, they intentionally wanted this was a commercial for PayPal. They intentionally wanted you to sound conversational. So right off the bat, I knew what that was. I went ahead and sent it off. You know, it's like, hey, it's PayPal. Get what you want. Check out fast. Direct, soft, new, fresh, conversational. And that's what this landscape is now. Not exactly that for everything else, but it's definitely not over the top, salesman-y, slimy.
Mhm.
I always say put yourself in the shoes of when you're watching a commercial and how you want to buy things and what convinces you.
Yeah.
Um, like any for anything else, man. If you want to get into video games or anime, immerse yourself into it. Immerse yourself into the commercials of now nowadays. You're gonna watch yourself book a lot more. The reason I bring up that one is because I do want to I do want to share a little anecdote, a little story about that.
Mhm.
Um, that PayPal audition. Remember how at the end of it I go like, boom.
Oh, yeah. Yes. I remember that.
So
Yeah.
for a little context, I wanted to say bring your own personality to it. That's what's going to set you apart because everyone else wants to get a handle on being conversational. Then it's going to be your little intrinsicities that set you apart, right?
Mhm.
So for that commercial in particular, I did lose it out to a big VA.
Mhm.
However, they I was second runner up because I showed my personality in there. I read the commercial and I thought I did a really good job. So, you know, I'm in my booth, it's private. So at the end of it, I go, you know, PayPal, check out fast. Boom. And, you know, I'm editing out, I sent it out. And I'm feeling so good about that commercial read so well. Like 20 minutes later, I decide, let me hear that again. Because you can go back and listen to your auditions. And then I get to the last part of it, and I'm like, oh my God. I left the boom in there.
He left the booth.
I left the boom in there. And literally 12 hours later, the director goes like, we loved your enthusiasm and your confidence. You're shortlisted.
Damn.
Please stay on standby.
Wow.
So like
Dude,
don't be afraid to be yourself in there, man. Bring your own personalities to your reads.
that is so wild. Yeah, dude. Like I've noticed that. Just the confidence will really set you apart. Like that's what I struggled with like last year before I booked
Mm-hmm.
Pizza Hut. Um, when you feel like you're just not booking, you're getting callbacks, but you're just not booking. You get to a point like I did last year with Pizza Hut where I just stopped giving a fuck, and even when I take coaching with Melissa Medina, who's great at coaching, um,
Fantastic.
a note she would give me is like, just reel it back, just pre act like you don't care.
Yeah.
Right? As much. And when I do that, like it just sounds more real, it just sounds more authentic.
Mm.
Another thing I've learned from commercial is just like don't tell people what to do.
Yo,
Uh,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because no one likes being told what to do. They just want to casually be given a suggestion, maybe,
Yeah.
to maybe the person talking in the commercial is like your homie, your friend. Like he's just trying to
Mm-hmm.
pass on some valuable information that you could use. You don't have to take it. He's not trying to tell you what to do. You know? He's just your
It,
homie.
it's very hard, especially when you have like direction acting in the script. If it is like, get to Old Navy now, do it, go there.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
very hard not to get into the sense where you're telling them what to do.
But you could just be casual, like get to Old Navy now. You know?
Look at that, look at
It
that,
just
exactly.
But it's just up to the actor. It's just up to the actor. Like honestly, just being more ballsy too is gonna like make your
Yes.
auditions better. I really
Yeah.
like to do something where I can like capture attention within the first 20 seconds.
Yes.
Like,
Yes. I would say you did that 100% with your Dislyte character. Because when his, what was his opening line? It was something that I was like, oh my gosh. Do you remember it by chance?
I think he like chuckled. He said,
Yes, that's what it
"Yeah," and
was.
then he was like, "Inmates, get ready for today's punishment." I believe.
That's what it was. Because I heard a chuckle and then because you know, your voice is very resonant and very deep. And I was like, holy,
Mhm.
he got me. I'm listening through the whole rest of it. Um, so I 100% agree with you. Like,
Mhm.
oh man, it was such a good thing. But yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah. So the commercial world. Oh man, there's been so many commercials that I've seen. Like I was literally at a billiard bar where you play pool, you order food, and I'm like seeing the commercial I did not book. Like on the big TV, I'm like, damn it, man, that's how he freaking delivered it. Like,
Always, always fun seeing something you didn't book.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, oh my God, I was on Netflix and I pay the regular subscription, the $7, because I'm not on Netflix like that.
No shame, no shame.
Yeah.
Watch those commercials.
Yeah, so I see the ads and it's for like Microsoft, right? And I'm like, damn, he did it like that. He sounded like he gave a fuck way less than me.
Mhm.
Because it's not about me. It's not
Right.
it's not about the
Mhm.
voice actor or the actor behind. It's about the story and the visuals going on. You're just the
Yep.
assistant,
Yep.
you know?
I don't know why people stop saying understand the assignment, because I think that's very, very pertinent to anything that you're doing.
Mhm.
Um, because yeah, like you said, it's not about you. And if you make it about you, they're not gonna book you for that. And it's very easy to do that in commercial and video game. Could you imagine if you booked a video game and you were just an NPC telling you, yeah, the direction's over there, and you ham the shit out of that?
Mm.
Yes. I believe the direction is right over yonder. Please.
Yeah.
Not to say that, there could be a crazy character that could fit that, but in
Hmm.
general, if it's just your goal is to move the character that way and you do all that, they're not gonna. Come on, man. That
Yeah.
shows that you're not thinking whole picture. You're thinking very selfishly as an actor for sure.
Yeah, and dude, these are the things that people just have to go through trials and tribulations
Mhm.
with. Like you have to fail in this industry and acting in general to like see these things, see your flaws, and be humble enough to accept them and adapt.
Man, how was I'll share my thing, because because we come from theater, and
Mhm.
I come from theater as well, and from the TV world. And when I transitioned to voiceover, I was having a rough time because I was very successful in theater. So I was like, why aren't my skills translating? Or when I would not book something, I'm like, why? Taking it really personally.
Mhm.
So it was until I humbled myself and was like, dude, you're back to zero here. You have to show this respect and learn from zero. And maybe eventually your skills will transfer, or maybe you'll learn to develop different skills. But if you're blocking yourself off and thinking everything else is the problem, you're limiting your growth vastly. Like you said, the most lessons you learn isn't from booking. If anything, dude, I can't tell you what I did right with Toland, but I
Mm.
can tell you what I did not do right with all the other 27 dislike characters that we went for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you learn so much more from failure. And that's why I
Mhm.
love failing. My theater teacher in freshman year told me and the entire class, keep failing, always keep failing. And
Love that.
when you hear that, you're like, what do you mean? But it's a good way to look at life.
Yes.
Anytime
Yes.
something negative happens in life, I look at it as a positive, like waiting to happen.
Hmm. It's a lesson learned. It's building experience. It's leveling up. That's all that is. 100%.
Exactly. So my next question is,
Mm.
what does it take to be a competitive actor and get an agent today?
Oh man. Okay. The best advice I could say is be as versatile as you can. And with those versatilities, be the best that you can while bringing yourself. So let me unpack a little bit about that. So this actually comes from one of my agents in particular. She said, the more versatility you have, the more I can send you out to. That means the more bookability you have, the more chances you are to bring in. Because at the end of the day, it is a business. So if you're marketable and you're bookable, that's dollar signs for any agent, right? That's like fantastic.
Hmm.
So now, okay, great. Let's say, take me for example. You can speak Spanish, you can speak English, you can do accents from Texas, New York, all this other stuff, Britain. You're very chameleon like. Great. What sets you apart from this other dude that I have that does the exact same thing? And that's terrifying, right? Because you think you spent your whole life developing the skills. That's where you come in. How you interpret scripts, your ideas, and as long as they're honest and with the work, you're not throwing in a like, hey, how's it going, to a very big buff guy. As long as it fits the script, then you have a really good shot of being competitive. um because all that's going to equate to is a lot of confidence. um it's funny to me when people say, I don't know what good acting is, I don't know what good acting is, but you hear it all the time. It's something that compels you and brings out emotions. Like, you'll watch a movie with like Denzel or Pedro Pascal and you'll be like, oh my god, that was either hilarious, that was fantastic, that made me cry. That's good acting. And you can tell they're not going for anything, they're just in the moment being honest. And
Hmm.
that's from a lifetime of being confident in their abilities and knowing what their strengths are and honing those strengths to an absurd degree. Um, I think that for sure makes you a strong contender for anything. Um, Also, being genuinely nice and don't be a jerk gets you very, very far. You don't have to be the best, but if you're very nice, you can, I guarantee you, you're going to go a lot further than just being arrogant and jerky with everybody. But that would be my main advice. Start getting out there, practicing, developing, and honing your skills, and see how far you can spread yourself and be as versatile as possible.
Exactly. Yeah, that was amazing. Exactly. Like, I don't even know what to add to that, but yeah, I was gonna say as well, like just to go off about what you said as well, like what is your opinion on the copy? Like what is your opinion on the character? Like what is your opinion on how they are? Like what is their mindset? What psychologically drives them and like
Mhm.
because everyone else is gonna have a different opinion on the character and deliver it in a certain way.
Right.
But your opinion and your interpretation is what's gonna differentiate you from everyone else, you
Mhm.
know? And yeah, also about what you said about being easy to work with and professional,
Yeah.
that's huge in getting an agent as well because it's like referrals are a thing,
Yes.
connections are a thing, and if I don't know you, if I've never worked with you, never interacted with you, how can I possibly vouch for you to
Right.
be a part of, you know, an agency that I'm with? Like it's
Mhm.
what if you do something unprofessional and then, you know, people are gonna look to me like
Right. This is your man, so you brought him in.
exactly, exactly. So it's like it's if you're an actor, if you're a voice actor in the industry and someone asks you for a referral
Mhm.
and you don't feel good about it, you don't have to do it. If you don't feel good about it, like you should
Right.
have standards before doing that because your reputation is on the line as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I won't name any major actors, but there's a lot of big time actors that, we grew up watching that aren't really working anymore just because of how they perceive themselves and how their actions and everything else. So, lesson for everybody, man, just be genuinely nice. It costs nothing. Be supportive, and it pays back tenfold because the majority of people in this community are very, very nice and likewise as well. So, it's just a good feeling all around for sure.
Yes, for sure. I have a couple of more questions.
Heck yeah.
Let's see. So, what is something you wish could change within the community in voice acting?
Oh, that's a grenade.
Well, no, I mean you can take your time. You can be as transparent and honest as possible
Yeah.
because I will. Because I
I think there are a lot of stuff for sure. But the main thing that I would like to see different in the VA space is there is a lot of like, and it's hard to know people's true intentions and whatnot, but I do see it all the time where they're hiding agendas. So just for their own sake. Like if somebody comes up to us and wants to be our friend, but then like 2 days in, they're like, "Hey, could you give me the names of your agents? Hey, could you tell me how you book this? Hey, how did you get on Nintendo? I think I could do that too." Basically saying, "I think I could do that better than you." Things of that nature. Um, I see a lot of that, especially the higher up you go. Um, I really do wish people were just, like I said, a lot nicer and more
authentic in a way.
authentic. Yeah, authentic
Yeah.
for sure. I think that would be my biggest thing to change in the industry just because, I know a lot of gatekeeping happens, a lot of, keep the community small and whatnot, but there's work for everybody. There's
Hmm.
literally work for everybody and everyone's included. Um, and why stomp on somebody's dream if this is their dream for sure? Like be helpful. We were all in that position once before. But to like, use people as like ladder steps, so to speak,
Yeah, stepping
that's
stones. Yeah.
oh yeah, I cannot vibe with that, man. That I would like that to change for sure. And it's funny because a lot of them get away with it, and I'm like, oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean, to a certain point,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Um, yeah, so I feel that too. One thing I wish that could change too, like make the castings as inclusive as possible. Like
Yeah.
have as many people be able to audition for roles. I know there's a lot of authentic casting. And authentic casting is cool,
Mhm.
but I also want to see people be able to voice any kind of characters. Like, it's a debatable topic,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a tough one. I also feel the thing is with locations, right? Like Los
Yeah.
Angeles, Texas, these things are the primarily the hubs for anime and video games. Video games and anime are primarily in Los Angeles, while mainly anime
Texas.
is in Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And New York has always been, Broadway theater. It's always been the
Yeah.
big city. So voice acting kind of takes a back step, right?
Hmm.
It's more commercial here. There is NYV Post. There is animation places here, but it's not as prominent, and you won't get as many auditions for animation like you
Hmm.
would in Texas or Los Angeles. So
Yeah.
I understand it though, because housing costs, like they need to pay for these studios. They can't just
Yes.
have people working remotely all the time. So they need to make use of these studios, and have people be local. So I understand that. I just wish for people to just still have the opportunity remotely if
Mhm.
their recording studio is up to par. You
Yeah.
know?
It's
Yeah.
funny because sometimes even a home studio is better than a one that you travel to. I think the first studio I ever went to, you could still hear airplanes and cars on the outside. And I was like, wow, people pay by the hour here.
Mm-hmm.
Not to like shit on them or anything like that, but it's funny. Once I constructed my home booth, I was like, oh wow, I can't hear anything. So there, after I'm not saying like I have a closet that I walk into, not to say that that isn't also usable. You can book off that too. But if you have a standard professional broadcast quality booth that, whispers silent, great tones, you can send it off, then yeah, why not give you the opportunity because you might be able to bring something to the role that, others might not be able to. And you saw a lot of that during COVID, like even the animes that came out there, like My Dress Up Darling and
Mm-hmm.
a few other ones. I'm blanking, but that one in particular used a lot of actors that I haven't seen in a while, and then some new ones too, and they did one phenomenal job. And the main guy wasn't even from Texas, so it goes
Yeah.
to show you, like we would have missed out on that wonderful dub just because of geological reasons, and that's a shame.
Yes, exactly. You know, hopefully things will change, but also I'm an advocate for if you really want it, like, how bad do you want it, right?
Go for it.
Like,
Yeah, exactly, same.
yeah. So everyone has different circumstances though. Some people,
Yeah,
unfortunately are disabled and can't travel. Some people, so I would like for them to be accommodated as well. But
yeah.
moving on to my other questions, we're getting close to the end here, guys, but
Ah.
it's all right. It's all right. Let's see. So here is my other question. Biggest difference between VO and on camera and theater acting?
Yee. Oh man. Okay. On camera, definitely grounded. I would say mm, because camera is zooms in depending on what shot it is. So you have to be very vigilant about that. If it's a shot of you going down the hallway, then yeah, you have to incorporate your body into that language, into that performance as well. Eyes, facial expressions, have to showcase a little bit of your internal dialogue very subtly with your faces and body language, depending on what your scene is. Theater, much more broader, while still being honest. Theater is more like a fantasy place, and you're doing a good job when you can take them there because you're basically on a stage with props. But if I can make you believe that this is, Shakespearean times and the
Mm-hmm.
accent is good and this words are coming out of my mouth are from my brain, not from a script, that I'm doing my job. But very, very more vocal, very more broad, while still being real. It's kind of the hardest one because you're in a big feathery outfit and you're still trying to convince people. I think if you're good at theater, you can mold yourself into either of the other two avenues. Voice acting, it's almost a different beast because they're in itself voice acting has many different avenues: commercial, anime, video games, all requiring their different strengths as well. So, man, there's a majority of differences. But if I had to bring it down to its simplest terms, on camera acting will be subtle, whole body acting, broad, big, honest acting for theater, and all that gets into voice acting too, because voice acting, I think, is an unlimited spectrum. There's no telling what you're going to be called in for and what is needed from
Yeah.
you.
One day
So,
you'll oh good. Sorry.
no, I was just going to say, it's like you either have to be loud, quiet, sad, happy. Not to say that you're not that in acting in TV or theater, but to convey that only with your voice is a lot more difficult. But yeah, like I said, you never know what they expect from
Yeah, like one day you could play a little kid, then the next day you're playing like a 12-foot bear,
you.
and
Yep.
then you're playing like a fish. Like, just,
That gets one line.
yeah, then you never see him again.
Hi.
Like,
And then you just leave.
exactly. No, yeah, I came up from theater as well, from being a child actor in theater, performing on stages in middle school and high school, competitions, like
Mhm.
yeah, like there's a lot of projection that you need in theater
Yep.
and on camera. I feel like I'm in my element though when I act on camera. like I feel like because all you need is the other actor. Like when you're doing
Yes.
voice acting, it's hard to listen when there's no one to listen to because you're in a booth by yourself.
Right.
So you kind of have to imagine it and read the line before your line to see how you're going to react and see how you'll feel. So, yeah, I feel like for me, purely theater is like amazing.
Yeah.
I love all forms of acting. I'm glad I'm doing voice acting now, but yeah. But
To piggyback on what you said, like if it's just you and the other actor, you know what I've done now in my booth? I put a mirror.
oh
So
wow.
when you, yeah, check it out. So when you're acting, you're looking at yourself, and it's instantaneous. You can actually see if you're nailing what you think you're not going to look how you think you're going to look, but you can see it, and you can see your face contort. It's actually a very beautiful experience. I really recommend it to any voice actor. Put a mirror in your booth so you can see yourself do it. I love it
Yeah,
so
I'm about to put a mirror in my booth, man.
much.
Oh my goodness. Well, so here, let's see. So, which character that you voice sticks with you the most?
Toland.
Oh man. Yes, the
So
arch nemesis.
Toland mainly sticks to me the most because that was the one that I from the ground up made that voice. Like
Hmm.
just that was the most workshop I've ever done and the most confident I've ever felt. So the fact that I booked him, I was so happy about because he started off very light. I drew inspiration from Bleach. There's a character from Bleach, the anime, who's like a scientist, very creepy, very cool. It's like, oh, the perfect being, you say, in certain stuff. So he had a very light voice to begin with, and it didn't match him, but I knew I was in the right avenue. And after training lower registers, like, okay, all right, good. So I started mixing the two to see, like, greetings, my friend. And then I was like, okay, that's there. Now, how do I add my own twist to it? And if you can hear, there's a subtle Hispanicness to it, the way he pronounces things. Um, and you can hear it mostly in the second line where he goes, sorry, my friend, not this way. Like you can hear the intonations a little bit. So he stuck with me a lot. Um, just from that. And then one of his lines I loved so much, which was like, why trust in fate when you can trust in me? I thought that was one of the most badass lines I've ever heard in my life. So that character sticks with me. He was the first major character I ever booked for a video game with millions of players, one that I workshop from the ground up, and one that I'm very, very proud of the performance. So yeah, I will always remember that one for sure.
Yeah, it fit like a glove, amazing. Like I think even in where the game originates from, you'll see like posters and stuff like that in the streets, like of the whole city. Like it's insane how
Isn't that
how
crazy?
yeah, how big that game is there. Like, yeah, dude, I'm so glad that our characters are intertwined, like in everything. Like, dude, amazing. So I have about three questions left, and yeah, so let's see. Um, all right, so any advice for up and coming voice actors?
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude. Um, get started. Get started. I started with a $100 microphone and going on websites like Upwork or Twitter, whatever I could find, just to start building up experience. And I will tell you, once you get the basics down, get a PVC booth or whatever. You don't need the best equipment. You literally can just invest $500 in yourself and you can start booking.
Mhm.
I've always made a return on everything that I've invested in. The $100 microphone and the $100 worth of PVC piping and blankets, moving blankets, yielded me back like 10K after a year. And that's just from constant grinding. Yeah, PV play to play sites aren't that good, but that's why you have things like Upwork or Twitter to start building up your resume. Um, and you're going to fall down a lot because, this is the first time doing things, especially if you don't come from an acting background. But the more you do, like a lot of my friends, they said they never taken coaching before, but I do recommend coaching just to get you aligned. The goal of coaching is to reduce those 10,000 hours or 100,000 hours that you have to do to master something. That just helps you reduce that time for sure. But a lot of them are just, just from getting out there, failing, trying over and over again and seeing what works.
Mm.
So I would say get started, even if you're doing just fan things or just even on your own, repeating commercials that you see on TV. Or what I used to do too, and I loved it. I would pick a video game that I haven't played that got really good reviews for the acting. I would mute it, but with the captions, I would see the lines. But now I can see the whole scene and everything like that. I would read it how I want to read it. And then I hear how it was performed, and then that's how I get better. Same thing for anime. Something I haven't seen that got great reviews, mute it, see the scene, perform it, compare it, and start getting the right idea of what's expected from you. And you'll see it. It'll snowball. You'll book one thing, maybe not a lot, book another, book another, book another, and then before
Mhm.
you know it, you're competitive and you're out there. For sure, get started is my biggest advice.
Yeah, and one of the things too with anime and stuff, it's not easy to book an anime. Some people
No.
will legit hang on to one character they booked 20 years ago and still make money off that one character 20 years
Mhm.
later. Like if they're prominent enough, like it
Yes.
happens. You can make a career
Mhm.
off of one character.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that was one of the memes that were going around with Pokemon was coming back, the newest version of it.
mhm.
They're like trying to secure 20 years of work by booking one of
Yeah.
the leads in Pokemon. I was
Ah,
laughing.
damn. Well, so favorite games of all time?
Favorite game, the one you recommended, Final Fantasy 15. Final
So good.
Fantasy 15.
So good.
Wow,
One
man.
of
When
my
I
favorites. One of my favorites.
My absolute favorite.
Yeah.
It's filled with such amazing acting. The game alone, just the gameplay, I love because I love Final Fantasies. I love RPGs. But the acting, you could feel them, the brotherhood, the emotions. It really opened my eyes. Like, wow, that it's like watching a freaking movie. Um, that I know everyone says this, but Last of Us for sure was my first game for the PS4, and I was blown away too. I There's a lot of emotions in that game too that I was not prepared for, and I was like, what the heck? So it's a lot different because I grew up with Dragon Ball and games that were just maybe just shouting or whatever, but that was like intricate. That was like levels, and you can feel the connections and everything. I was like gutted at the end of it. I was like, yeah, this is what's up, man. This is what we need to bring, and it just shows you that the landscape has changed again. Like you said, for commercials, it's no longer like, "Hey, come get this." Yeah, video games are no longer, "Hey, you have a cool voice. Say like, get down." So
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
cool. But basically, those two for sure are my top two. My favorite game, like that's comfort, Final Fantasy X, which is another RPG, but that was my first game that I was able to remember watching my older brother play, and that one resonated with me. The story, the acting, again, super good. I always reference the narration of that game because I think James Arnold Taylor, I believe, is the name of the actor who played Titus, did an amazing job with that. So sometimes I'll just listen to that because that's a good showcase of how to do a narration. Shows subtle emotion, but not too much into it. Very, very good tip for also for audiobook reading. Just let the imagination wander and just set the story for everybody. But I'll listen to that like while I'm working too.
Nice. Nice. Amazing choices. A lot of Square Enix in there.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. I'm
Some
telling
Naughty
you that.
Dog. No, no, that's great. Like, I love Square Enix. Like, so what are your future goals in acting?
Ah, just to just to keep doing it, honestly. Before I was like, watch me get into a Final Fantasy, watch me get into a Street Fighter. And
Yeah.
you know, the more you are grateful, the more you start booking, the more you're just like, you're blessed to do this, man. Because I
Hmm.
think me and you know actors that are even better than us who can't do this for a living because of their circumstances, man. If something was different in my life, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Mm.
And that's such a shame. So like to be ungrateful and to just ask and not be ask for things that you want instead of being like, oh, thank you so much for what I received. I think for sure. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, gratitude. Gratitude is huge. Exactly what you said. Like, it's a privilege to be able to do this.
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
exactly. So, my last question is anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Fans for Dislyte.
Yes. Yes, or fans
uh
of Jhovany universally.
I don't know if I have any of those yet. Well, thank you guys so much. I remember when I first announced Toland, the fan art went crazy. The simping for Toland went crazy.
This is
The simping for Toland went crazy. But mostly you guys made me feel so welcome considering this is my first role into the Dislyte franchise. And I will forever be grateful for everything, the kind words, the amazing arts, just even the likes, even watching Toland's trailer on YouTube. Like, you guys really made me feel honored to have this role. So I want to thank you guys all. We do see most of the stuff you guys post, like if it's art on Twitter or on your Instagrams and stuff. Maybe we don't react to all of it, but know that it's seen and know that it's appreciated, and know it makes us feel good that we did you guys a service to bring these characters to life for you, and that you guys agree, like, you know, oh, you did an amazing job, like, thank you so much, man. It's all at the end, not for that, but it definitely helps to know that we have so much support.
Yes, exactly. Wow, this was such a great episode. Thank you so much for coming, man. I really
Of
appreciate this.
course, man. Thank
I'm
you. I
gonna
appreciate
post
it.
this. Yeah, I'm gonna post this on as many platforms as possible, and I'm gonna tag your social media as
Ah,
well.
yeah.
Yes.
At
Yeah.
Jhovany VA.
Yeah. Until next time, inmates.
See ya.
Bye bye.